Alliance here in Savannah. I'm Dan Cruz with the competitor group, and it's a great afternoon to be in Georgia. It's my pleasure to begin our program this morning, introducing our first speaker, the president of the Savannah Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, Mr. Joseph Marinelli.
Thanks. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We really have some exciting news this morning to share. Many of you probably remember that a few years ago, Savannah was one of the host cities for the G8 Summit. I think today's news is even bigger than that. Starting in November of 2011, Savannah will be a host city for the Rock and Roll Marathon and Half Marathon series, and we are very, very excited about that.
Good morning, everybody. I'll tell you, it is great to be in the city of Savannah. You're in one of the greatest places in the world, and we are simply just expanding as we go to make it greater. And this event that we are announcing today will go a long, long way in making Savannah more known around the world, and especially more known in the United States. I want to thank the competitors group for choosing Savannah for this rock and roll marathon. We love rock and roll, and we are growing to love running, and we are doing everything that we can, and we'll do everything that we can to make this event one of the best of the series that you conduct each year. So I want to thank you and the competitors group for choosing Savannah. And we're going to unveil this logo.
Your excitement is transferring to us. I would tell you that this example of civic pride is manifested itself. We saw it during the bid process. It had always been a goal of the competitor group to expand our rock and roll series into the Southeast. And as we were talking with other southeastern cities, it became apparent pretty quickly the amount of professionalism and the amount of civic pride that Savannah was going to exhibit. And quite frankly, that was one of the very telling factors in our decision to bring the series here. So we're very excited about your enthusiastic support of the event, and really looking forward to it.
There may be some of you out in the audience or folks that read the newspaper this morning kind of wondering, what's the fuss all about? Well, the Rock and Roll Marathon, what we like to do when we come into town is we like to create a happening. The race started back in San Diego in 1998, long before the first iPod or MP3 player. And the combination of entertainment, music, a start line production, and a finish line concert has proven to be a dynamic recipe that this event will be more than a marathon. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. He's one of the greatest marathoners ever in America. He's the last United States representative of the Olympic Games to win the gold medal in the marathon. And he's also one of the founders of the Rock and Roll Marathon back in 1998. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Frank Shorter.
As I was telling Bruce Walton, who yes is Bill Walton's brother, who is one of the people who works with the competitor groups who were coming in last night. I'm one of those people, you have a lot of sports celebrities out there, and I really don't consider myself a celebrity, and some people refer to me as a legend, and whenever that happens, I say, well, the operative word there for me there is living. And I was joking with Bruce. I said, I travel with an entourage of zero. It's just me. But I was thinking, as I showed up and I met Rob Espinoza this morning, and everyone here from the running community was here. I'm saying, I'm in a sport where you don't need a posse. All you have to do is find a town like Savannah where you have a local running community like this who can come out en masse, because the biggest cheer of any group out there so far this morning has been the supporters of Rob and the Fleet Feet store, who came down to we're a group. We all share the disease, and it's this love of running. And as was mentioned, at the first meeting to really decide whether or not the rock and roll concept would work with a fellow named Tim Murphy way back in 1998, I was there kind of working with events around the country. I have the luxury of going where I want to work. I realized that the rock and roll concept and the people that put it on, and particularly the competitor group who has this unique ability to come into a city and create something like this and get along with absolutely everyone and do it in a fashion that makes you still feel like it's your event, because it's your event. The competitor group is in here to put on this event for you, and it really is your event. But I really am so happy to come here and see this running community again, to see that the spirit's here, because I spent 4 years down in that other southern state below the line called Florida, in Gainesville, and I know what it is, all you runners, to run in the heat. I know what it is, and I'm looking forward to coming back here in November and getting back out there in the heat again. I was out this morning going, oh yeah, that's what it feels like. You get done with your run, and 3 hours later, you're still enjoying it because you're still sweating. But it really, it's great to be. And the other connection, there's kind of, what I was feeling today as I was out there running along the river, was kind of a close circle. Because I'm coming back to Savannah many years later after having visited here many times as a young child and then high schooler, because my family used to camp out down on Hunting Island years ago when you could actually sleep on the beach. And so we used to come up here, and obviously this is where the history was, and my family and fortunately my parents really did want us to know about the history. So for me, to have that wide-eyed kid tour of this city so many years ago and then be able to come back in this context as sort of a celebrity is really a unique experience for me in terms of American history. So I feel part of that as well. So I'm looking forward to coming back in here and running in the heat. And the other thing I think that should be mentioned that hasn't so far, and then we'll get on with it, is what I term the running for other people and other reasons, the charities, the millions of dollars, truly millions of dollars, and these are what I call checkbook dollars. These are dollars where someone actually gets their checkbook, takes it out, and writes a check for that amount of money for this research. The competitor group and the rock and roll series, they lead the world really in raising money for charity. At this point, I think the press figure was $233 million. True dollars raised for research in various areas of medicine over 12 years. And 12 years is not a very long time. And so you always have to remember that. And I think what you're going to find, especially everybody out there in the local running community, you can now get with people who may or may not be thinking about, oh, can I run a half marathon? Can I do this? The doing it for someone else really is that motivator. You know, as runners out there, that peer group that you have, that group, you can get together and get so many more of these people to really decide to take that 3 months to get ready to run this half marathon, and then we can all be out there together. And the other good thing about you coming across me at this point in my career is that so many of you are going to get a chance to beat me if I'm in the race. And so, I don't know if that's that big a deal to you. But all I'm saying is I don't mind. I don't mind because we're all having fun. It's all for a good thing. So really, these people are the real deal. They can really put it off. No learning curve. First year will be a success, and that's why I'm here. So I hope to see you all in November. Thank you.
These days I'm so restless, man. I need to sit still.